All
Good
right.
morning.
Okay. Good morning. Hi, Lacey.
Hey.
All right. So this morning we're going to go back to some basics. Some of you guys are new enough to where you probably needed just a couple of reminders and some best practices. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Okay. Before I do, I want to introduce a couple of things to you. First off, this week, does anybody on this call have any closings happening this week? Okay. If you do this week, next week, either week, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, check with help desk, check with Karen, make sure that you don't have any outstanding documents due on any of your files, on any of your contracts. If somebody is asking you and begging you for an amendment for a particular contract, something along those lines, you need to do your best to get it to them as quickly as possible. We have tons of closings happening this week. It's a great problem to have, but it puts a huge extra burden on the rest of the staff, help desk, and Karen. So if you want to help yourself out, make sure you get paid in a timely fashion and make sure everything goes smoothly. Monitor your contracts, and if somebody's asking you for something, get it to them quick. Okay. And I introduced this briefly, but I'm going to introduce it again in this forum too. Last week in the huddle, when we were doing the training on the open houses, sorry, I had to think about it for a second. We had talked briefly about this, but I wanted to introduce you to something that's going to be happening in the near future. We're going to be making a change in our email system that is primarily being driven by a couple of different things, providing you the maximum level of service, but also making sure that the service works well with the Moxie CRM that is coming down the pike later on this summer. So to that end, we've contracted with some companies that are going to be making some changes in our email system. More is going to be coming. You'll see some information coming down from Dwayne on that. And one of the things that we are going to need is, and I saw the faces when I introduced this, is actually going to be your password. Your password is going to be required in order to make the flip of the change. And I know we've all been conditioned to never give our password out. Unfortunately, we're going to need to do that for this particular change and only this particular change. So don't give it out to anything else or anybody else, but just know that that's going to be coming in the next few weeks. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, so today I want to open up and we're going to talk about just some agent best practices, things that every agent should do, things that we need to be reminded of every now and then, just some good old-fashioned back to basics. Let's reevaluate and make sure that we are covering all the bases for our clients. Okay, so I'm going to just launch right in and we're going to hit share and I'm going to hit. Okay. Actually, I want to share a different screen. Hang on. Okay, share. There we go. Now it's working. Okay, everybody looking at agent best practices on their screen right now? Thank you. All right, so we are just going to launch right in. Okay, why is this not working? Okay, sorry guys. I thought I'd broken Zoom. It's a strong possibility. All right, so let's go back. Let's just talk about some simple best practices as an agent. your phone. Let's talk about your phone. We're going to talk a little about your car. We're going to talk about some other different things here, but let's talk first about your phone and your voice message. You, as a real estate professional, must have a custom greeting. You cannot have the "you have reached 770-298-6421. Please leave a message." You are a professional. Your greeting should be, "Hi, you've reached Jay. Good afternoon. Hi, you've reached Lacey. I'm not able to take your call right now. Leave me a message. I'll get back to you as soon as possible." Okay. I am one of my pet peeves, and I'm not a fan of. "I will get back to you at my convenience." Claire is smiling. Is there any other way to say that your call is not important enough to me to where I'm going to make sure that I let you know that I'm prioritizing your call below everybody else's? That's kind of the way I read that. All right. Also, huge pet peeve, never let your voicemail box fill up to the point where you can't take any more messages. That is also a way of saying you are no longer important enough to me for me to clear out my voice messages so that you can leave me another voice message. And it makes me think that the voice message that I did leave was clearly not that important because you didn't even have enough time to monitor it, listen to it, delete it, refresh it, whatever the case may be. All right. I am a fan also when you're starting to work with a client, whether they're a prospect or even a co-op agent or another agent that you come across in the office here. I am a big fan and a big proponent of making sure that they go into your contacts list. That way, if they ever do reach out to you, you know who you're talking to right away, and you always have that ability to reach out to them. All right. You can, and I strongly suggest that you do, use some of the tools to look up your co-op agents. You can use either FMLS or you can use HomeSnap Pro, which is a great app to add other agents to your contacts. I'm going to show you some pictures here in a minute on my next slide to where you can have an idea, especially when you're dealing with a co-op agent. What level of experience do they have? How many deals have they done? You can see this information. You just got to know where to look for it. And I'm going to show you that here in just a second. All right. And you also need to know how to share your own contact information with another iPhone user, whether they be a client, whether they be another agent, whatever. And it is actually a fairly simple process. You can put all your social media links in there to where they have everything. And it's much better and much faster and easier than actually just doing your business card. Business cards, if you hand somebody your business card, that is a passive method of marketing. It's going to require them to go sit down, take your card, transcribe it, put it into their phone. Whereas if you share your contact directly with them via a text or a phone, it makes it a whole lot easier.
I have a quick question on that.
Go for it.
As the modern agent, should you even have a hard copy of a business card, or should everything be digital? What's your opinion on that?
So I'm of the I think you should have the digital. I don't see a day when paper business cards ever will go by the wayside, me personally. I just think that there are people that you're going to come across where you may, in an ideal world, you always want to do the digital thing. But it may be something where you're at the line at the grocery store and you don't have time to stand there and exchange your digital information, but you can pull out of your pocket and hand them a business card. Okay. All right. So, gosh, why is this thing? So here, this is HomeSnap, and HomeSnap Pro gives you the ability to look up another agent. And in this case, I just happened to look up somebody we all know and love, Mr. Dwayne Amos, and I looked him up real quickly. You can pull up this information. The second image is below what you see right here. So you can actually see deal flow. You can see transactions, and on the listing side and the buy side, and this is over the last 24 months. You can actually see where they have a foothold. This particular agent, you know, if they are clustered right around Johns Creek and you're trying to do business in Carrollton, you know that they're not very familiar with that area. Okay. One of the best things that I have found on here is this tiny little button right here underneath of the information in the contact. Add to your address book. When you have the HomeSnap Pro app on your phone and you look up an agent like this, you can click that one button and they automatically go into your contacts with all of the information that you see here, their phone number, their email address, their address, what brokerage they are, the whole 9 yards. It all goes into your phone. That was a game changer for me. And it is probably why I have literally thousands of names in my contact list in my phone. It's a source of frustration on my wife for some reason. For some reason, she doesn't understand why I have 7,000 contacts in my phone. It is what it is. Okay. That is a simple, easy thing, and it has saved me so much time over the years. It's so easy to look up an agent by their first name or their last name, and then they click the add to address book and they're in there. All right. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about your car. Okay, your car does not necessarily have to look like this guy's, but just as some gentle reminders, your car should always be clean. It should be washed, interior as well as the exterior. You want to present a professional image. Do you need to go out and buy a $125,000 Mercedes? Absolutely not. You do not. Okay. Do you need to have something that is reliable and that looks halfway decent? Sure. Can you get away without it? Absolutely. My first year in the business, I drove a Toyota Corolla with a dented fender. Did it stop me from doing any business? I don't think it did. In fact, it might have helped me on a couple of occasions. But you can do it, and it can be done, and it doesn't have to do with your professional image. You can drive a box and still do your job and do it effectively. All right. I am a big fan of having a showing kit fully stocked and in your car. You can put it in a Rubbermaid, you can put it in a box or whatever, but you want to have a handful of things like bottled waters. I have 2 of those great big giant golf umbrellas, one for my client, one for me. I always want to keep some toilet paper in my car. Yes, you will have occasion to use it. I think I told this story once upon a time that I actually had somebody used it when we were looking at land out in the woods. Stuff happens, y'all. You got to be prepared. In this age of COVID, you want to have face masks and hand sanitizer. If you're showing a family or even yourself, but it's always a good idea to have some snacks, have some granola bars, have some candy bars, have something that will not melt necessarily, and that will not spoil, that you can keep in the trunk of your hot car. If kids are involved, I may take some special effort to grab some toys out of my grandson's toy box on the way out the door that morning and throw in my showing kit. Maybe some coloring books, some crayons, some markers, something along those lines. All right. Okay. When you're at your showings and you're doing you've actually got the clients, I'm a big fan of using the showing time cart to generate the itinerary when you're showing multiple homes. You know what? That new interface has been released. I need to update my slide. You can use the itinerary that you develop to send the itinerary to your client prior to that first home. Then when you actually physically get to that first home, you're going to hand the client a pre-printed copy, And if they need to, you hand them a pen so that they can use that pre-printed copy of the itinerary to take notes on the homes that they're visiting. Okay. It should go without saying, but navigating to and from these homes is a big part of what you're going to be doing. So I am a big fan when I've got the itinerary, before I ever go to sit down in my car, I will load all of the addresses for all of the homes that we're going to be showing into my mapping app or my mapping program. I'm a big fan of Waze. You could use Google Maps. You can use your iPhone maps, whatever your little heart desires. But you should be familiar enough with it to where you can plug all the addresses for the 5 homes that you're going to see today. And that way it makes it a whole lot easier for you to just pull it up quick and navigate. When you're out doing your showings, stay on schedule. Okay, use the showing time app to adjust your schedule if you need to. If you're getting yourself behind, go in there, make a quick change, and shift the last showing of the day out 30 minutes. And get a confirmation on it. It's easy to do, it's respectful of everybody's time, and it keeps everybody informed along the way. By the way, I'll say this half in jest and half in seriousness. Everybody knows about the whole hands-free environment for your cell phone driving in the state of Georgia. I have been trying to convince my wife that there is a realtor's exception to that law. She's not buying it. Keep the secret safe, okay? Don't let my wife know that there's not a realtor's exception to that law, okay? But do be careful when you're out there driving, all right, folks? Here we go, share. All right. If I can get my slides to advance, I'll be great. Here we go. All right, so here is the agenda that you would likely to be able to put yourself together for a particular buyer when you're using the showing card, and it does exactly this. It puts everything on one page. It even maps everything out for you. Great program to be able to show your clients where you're going, when you're going to be there, and how you're going to do this. Okay, I should mention this is the agent copy of the itinerary, which has all of this this information that you find right here under the listing details. If you print the buyer's version, this is all blank, and it leaves plenty of room for your client to keep notes on the house. Okay. All right, so when you are showing, when you are done with the showing, always leave feedback. You guys have heard me beat this drum multiple times, but when you are a listing agent and you have a listing that you cannot sell, you're gonna want that feedback. So you need to be sure that you're practicing the golden rule and doing unto others as you would want to have them done unto you. Isn't that right, Taz? Yeah, Taz has got a listing that she's struggling with getting feedback on. I think we've all been there, so she'd probably appreciate this as much as anybody. All right, try to make your feedback that you're leaving meaningful. Try to include both negatives and positives, and ask yourself, what value are you providing? If you just say nice home, does that really help the agent? Does it really help the seller? It doesn't. So don't be afraid, and you got to have a tough skin when you're in this business. So it's okay to be sure to point out some negatives. It was priced too high. It's just right. Priced below the market. Those are the questions that everybody always asks. And it's okay to say it's priced too high, even if you haven't done a full CMA. Okay, more than likely, if it's not selling, it's probably because it's priced too high. All right. I've also been a big fan of customizing the feedback questions on your listings so that you can actually get some meaningful information from your showings, and you can generate any number of questions. And I've got a good template if anybody's interested, other than the standard one that is with every single listing in FMLS. And this is actually it. Okay, you can customize your feedback. You can go into your feedback settings and do a form design and settings, and you can ask some questions like, did your buyers like the property? What did they think of the price? How do they rate the exterior? How do they rate the interior look, style, and overall cleanliness? There's a whole bunch of questions that you can ask, and you can generate, you can ask multiple choice questions. You can ask fill in the blank questions. It's actually a pretty cool little system. All right. I'm a huge fan of having your daily schedule. You hear Mike talk about this all the time. Time block your tasks in your weekly schedule. Treat activities as appointments. Okay, so if you say, I'm going to do a video, it's not good enough to say, I'm going to do a video today. You need to say, I'm going to do a video today between 1 and 3. And I'm going to have it edited and posted and completely done by the time I'm ready for my day. Okay. Have a good, well-written biography available and continuously updated. So when you have additional transactions, when you change anything, when you used to work with only buyers, now you're working with buyers and sellers, you need to make sure you're updating your biography and keep that biography up to date and keep it posted all over your social media and everywhere that you have a profile. Okay. We're switching gears. Everybody knows how to set up a client on their auto emails to where they're getting listings from you. There are some portal notifications. If you've got somebody set up on an email, you need to go into portal notification settings and make sure that you have your notification set up to where when one of your clients does anything on that portal, that you get a notification so that you can monitor what they're doing. Okay, best example I can tell you is when a client that hasn't really been active, that you've got set up on an auto email, all of a sudden they find a house that they really like and they hit the favorite button, or they send you a note and you get the notification that they favorited something. And now you have the ability to go call them up and say, hey, I saw that you favorited the house at 123 Main Street. Isn't that thing awesome? I love it. I'm available Tuesday afternoon. Do you want to set up a showing? They will love you. Huge. Makes a big, big difference. All right. I don't know why I have 2 slides of the same thing. There is the next slide of the portal notifications and how you can set these up to where you'll receive a notification when somebody saves a favorite or when they visit the portal for the first time. These notifications are awesome. All right. By all means, I'm getting down to the end here, but before you let any deal die, take on a partner. Call the broker hotline. You've got 80 plus years of experience between your broker staff that can help you try to rescue a deal before anything is allowed to go by the wayside. I think the only exception to that would be is if you had a deal that's going to die in due diligence. A buyer's right to cancel during due diligence. There's not much that anybody can do about it. But if you're going to be terminating a transaction for anything, by all means, take on a partner. Okay, we've got some experience coming up with creative solutions to difficult problems, and we can put those to use for you. All right. I have another little trick that hopefully you will find useful. Okay. And that is if you're looking for content for your video or even for your email marketing or your social media, Google Alerts are a great way to set up to where you have some video content coming to your inbox every day, and you can choose to share it, pass it on, or just analyze it and move forward. But Google alerts on anything such as housing inventory, interest rates, housing market, things along those lines, I get these every day and review them for potential social media content. And they take about all of 30 seconds to set up. All right. By all means, another best practice is to always stay on top with your coaching. Coaching calendars have become a lot easier and a lot simpler to navigate now, and you're getting reminders about appointments so that you don't miss them. So hopefully that will be something that you all can leverage and use moving forward. All right. I love this one. If a client tells you, I know two people that charge less, you should say, I have clients that will pay more. I love that. We should all have that strength of our convictions. What questions do you have for me today? Or if not questions, additional input, anything that I've left off that anybody else has figured out that you want to take credit for? Somebody got something.
Is there a digital day planner that you recommend other than just the calendar app? Like something that's, I guess, a little bit more pretty? As far as like putting in like daily activities, because I know my personal calendar and like my actual appointment calendar has my stuff, my son's stuff, my husband's stuff, my daughter's stuff. Something that, you know, would be independent of that.
So to be honest with you, anytime anybody asks me the question, is there one that you would recommend? Yes, I recommend the one that you'll use. And if I dictate to you which one makes the most sense, then you're likely to not use it. So, you know, if you have the ability to separate your kids' calendars from your calendars and your husband's and your family activities and things like that, I think that's probably makes a lot of sense. But whatever calendar program that you will use and you will use effectively, that's the one that I recommend. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you for your time today. I look forward to it. Hey, what are we doing on Thursday? Does everybody remember what we're doing on Thursday?
We have an outing to look at a house.
Field trip. Stand by. I still am trying to figure out which is the best location to do it in. But on Thursday, instead of doing a physical Zoom call, we're going to do a meeting here at the office. Stand by on the time and the location. And then we are going to meet at a nearby home, and we are going to do a field trip walking through the home, looking at systems, looking at materials, looking at terminology. What's this called? What's that called? How do you tell the difference between a gas hot water heater and electric hot water heater? We're going to talk about all of it in the field, in a home. Okay? And that's going to be Thursday. Stand by for the time and location. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week, and let me know if you need anything.